The three core values that describe how I lead are commitment, communication, and collaboration. And I'd like to also start off by saying that this is actually rather difficult, not because it's an interview, but it's forcing me to talk about myself. And that typically is not my style. So I would like to say to the community that I'm going to actually have to talk about what I do. But typically I'm a GSD person. I just get stuff done and move on to the next thing without talking about it much. But we'll have to do that today. And so collaboration is critical in terms of one of my core values. And these are 3 of the 5 core values for Dayton Public Schools right now, called the 5 C's. And these are 3 of the 5. And they were developed through research, empirical research, and also align with how I operate, think, and believe that schools and systems should be one. And so collaboration is one of them. And I believe in this space around democracy. And democracy and collaboration go together to me. It is difficult at a high level to be at the head of an organization without having a democratic process. It is impossible for me as the leader to think of everything. I can't do it. It's not possible. No one's that smart. So there are approximately 2,500 employees. I'm going to rely on them. There are 13,000 students. Many of them have great ideas. And there's 142,000 or so citizens in Dayton Public School, in Dayton proper, that see me when I'm out and about, that have ideas around how we can get better as a school system. So collaboration is one. The other one is communication. It seems very simple. It's a cornerstone of most leadership manuals, most leadership canons, communication. And it is very difficult to do because it's something that you must consciously do. You must think through it, and you must value other people's thoughts and ideas. And in doing so, you have to listen. Part of communication is listening. And most people would say he's a good listener. He listens. And so communication, listening what people say, and then getting messages out early, getting them out often, and repeating those messages so people understand exactly what message you're trying to get across and what direction you're trying to go. And then commitment. Even those people who may be Dr. Lawrence naysayers, you can't find a person that won't say he's not committed. I might not like his style, I might not like the direction, I might not like the program itself, but no one's going to question my commitment. There are very few people who work harder, who get up earlier, stay up later, and are more committed to education, the job itself, and the community. That's a great question. When I saw this, when I said, what fun I'm going to have with this one. I'm already the interim superintendent. And I did not take this job as interim with the thought that I was an interim. That's not being at all hubris, thinking that I was going to get the job. But my thinking was that when you get the job, then do the job. Someone once told me that it's much harder to pay attention and do the job. And so I wanted to just do the job. I wasn't thinking about the next job. I was thinking about what is best for children in this space in Dayton, Ohio right now. And so this administration that I'm part of, this team that I'm part of, we've come in and there have been significant changes. Changes in how we communicate, changes in the academic direction through the academic action plan that we've gone out into the community and discussed 3 times total. But when you count our guiding principle tours, we've been out to communities 7 times. We take calls, emails. I am really available to think through things. We meet with teachers, we meet with kids, community leaders. I'm in a different church every other Sunday. We're doing this job the best we can for children. And if we are lucky enough to obtain the job as superintendent of Dayton Public Schools, great, we'll continue the work. If not, we've done some really good work. And we've set this situation up really great for the next superintendent. So what you can expect is the same thing that you get now. I have a team of people that you can see them on the 2nd and 3rd Tuesdays. They're out in the audience. They're amazing, from the associate superintendent all the way through our public information office. It's a team of about 13, 14 people. And we work extremely well together in the interest of Dayton Public Schools. So I don't think you'll see anything different. This is not an act. It's not things that we're doing so that we can get the job. We're doing the job the same way we do it if we were named permanent superintendent. You know, my dad and mom, hi James and Eva, my dad is deceased. My mom, Eva, is still here on, I'm not gonna tell me your address, Mom, but you're here in Dayton, right down the street from Thurgood. They were amazing people. They were always activists. They always advocated for working class kids, no matter what color they were. My mother was a nurse, but a teacher also. She spoke fluent French. She speaks fluent French. My dad worked at General Motors, Delco Marine, Local 696, so he was a union guy. And he was a terrific athlete and a terrific person. And I was brought up to just think about things in terms of service, not so much money, titles, but service to community. And so they kind of laid the groundwork for it. And then Roosevelt for my mother, Dunbar for my dad, by the way. And then once I began teaching, and I got my teacher's license, I got my first job, Bob Canarosi. Thank you. He hired me on the day he was retiring. He walked out with his briefcase with me at about 6 o'clock from the 101 West 1st Street and said, "Good luck, kid." And so when he said that, I got my car. I drove to E.J. Brown. I asked Norma Gaston, I appreciate her, and asked her for my class roster and my class list. And that summer, I drove to every student's home. I taught 6th grade at E.J. Brown. I had about 28 kids. And I've done over 500 home visits since as a teacher, chief of schools, coach, interim superintendent. I still do home visits now. And that summer, going through those home visits, I said, this is where I'm supposed to be. When you knocked on the door and you saw the joy from the parents, grandparents, aunts or uncles, and the surprise too. They were surprised, like, why's your teacher here? In fact, we don't even know who it is. We haven't even got the list yet. And sitting down in those living rooms, having conversations, and listening to the aspirations and dreams of those families and what they wanted for their children, it makes it easy to get up early and go to bed late in the interest of students and kids in Dayton Public Schools. So probably the summer when I was doing home visits, that's probably when I said, I'm going to do this for 30 years. And by the way, I said to myself 30 at the time. I loved teaching. It wasn't 35 at the time, 35 years to retire at the time, it was 30. I loved teaching, and I loved being a basketball coach and after school math Olympics coach and going to recess with kids. And when I taught high school, I loved being in the lunchroom and listening to them and their thoughts and aspirations. I was a class advisor twice. So the juniors and seniors listening to their graduation plans and prom and homecoming and senior dinner dance. I really had no intentions on becoming a principal, none. Dora Carson was prescient enough to say, and forward-thinking enough to say, I think he can be good at what he does at the next level. And I went to a leadership class, thank you, Dr. Mack, William McGrady, and was enrolled in school and became a principal, and the rest is history. I won't go through the total trajectory, but I wanted to be a teacher, and I still am a teacher. And so I would say the summer of 1995 was when it's a long time ago. I would say that's when I thought to myself, I'm going to do this for a career. Yeah, so like I said, you know, I mean, I'm the interim now, so it makes it easy to talk about not what I'm going to do, but what I'm actually doing. So the NAACP was instrumental in helping us craft our academic action plan, which helps us drive what we're doing in the district academically. Learn to Earn, a local nonprofit, was important in that space as well. We went out and we mailed that academic action plan to all the teachers. We wrote it out to the principals. We mailed it out to the community. I presented in front of our 2Gen network, and I presented in other spaces this academic action plan in the community and in the business community and the academic community. And it's a work in progress. We continue to get feedback on it. And so that's just one example of how when we make decisions, big decisions like where are we going academically, we involve the community. And the community also involves folks who may not be educators. There are other folks with other ideas around how we can get better as a school district and what ultimate outcomes are for children. And so, again, I have the job. We've been out to the community 7 times, and we just continue to ask questions and present information in a timely, in a relatively accurate and thorough way. And then we take feedback and we respond and react to that. I think it's important to listen to the community in informal and formal ways. We have partnerships and relationships with virtually every single entity in this region. And we also have connections around the nation as it relates to school-based philosophies and evidence around how you get better. So we just continue to do the work. My final thoughts are, this is not my superintendency. I've done this almost 30 years. In all likelihood, I'm going to be okay professionally, so it's not about me. This is our superintendency. Our meaning the community writ large, and the 2,500 employees, high transportation, and it's our superintendency. See, we do this together. There's a reason that I'm so visible, because I want folks to know that I represent the organization writ large and can be touched and communicated with at all times, that that I'm around to support. And so, yeah, it's our superintendency, not mine.